Hello guys, welcome back to another video in our channel. Welcome back to the last match preview of the 2024-2025 season in our channel. This is the last match preview. Chelsea are heading away to Nottingham Forest, a game that is going to decide Chelsea's future. A game which is going to decide whether Chelsea are going to be in the Champions League, Europa League, or in the Conference League next season, depending on the outcome of this game and the outcome of Chelsea's Conference League fixture on Wednesday. Now, Chelsea are traveling to a tough ground. Chelsea have not won away in the top 8 teams. This is an away match, away at Nottingham Forest. Last season, Chelsea won 3-2 at Nottingham Forest, but this season it's different. When you look at it overall, Chelsea have a better all-round play than Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest were very strong throughout the season, but seemed to have fallen off towards the latter stages of the season, and Chelsea somehow capitalized on this. But it's not going to be it's not going to be an easy game, sorry, for Chelsea, and Chelsea also can try to ride on something. When you look at the last games for Nottingham Forest have probably won just their last their last game, but otherwise they have lost away. They have lost at home to Brentford. They have drawn to Leicester City at home, and they have just won their last away match. However, Chelsea really need that Brentford result. Now, Brentford went to Nottingham Forest. They took them toe to toe and managed to win that game 2-0. And Chelsea, if they can get such a result, will automatically guarantee them Champions League football for next season and also build their confidence as they head to the final of the Conference League. Gary Neville has been blocked from this game, and Sky Sports will have to get another commentator. And this is because of the remarks that Gary Neville made about the ownership of Nottingham Forest, especially after that scuffle between the owner and Nuno Espirito Santo. We are also going to see some of the things that Maresca talked about in his press conference. He talked about how this game is very important for the players, how the players have been very focused in training for this game, how he expects the players to put up a final kind of performance in this game. It's going to be a very tough game. Maresca also acknowledged that he's going to make changes and rotations in his squad for the Conference League, but he has said that their main focus is to win this final that will see them in the Champions League. And this is the game that is going to determine the maturity of these Chelsea's players. Remember the final goal that that Cucurella scored? Those types of goals are those that determine Champions League or not. Before we start our analysis, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. The first point to start is the lineup. And when you start with the lineup, in goal, it's more likely to be Robert Sanchez. And since Sanchez shaved his hair, I've realized that he has really been a great goalkeeper. You can even remember the save he made against Ahmad. And he has really been a good goalkeeper recently. The last time I saw him having a bad game was the 3-1 defeat away at Manchester City. But since then, he has been quite okay. The fullbacks, we are going to go with Reece James and Marc Cucurella. Both of them combined to score against Manchester United. And we really need physical players, and Reece James is a physical player against a very physical team. It's going to be very important when we have our fullbacks on. Cucurella is also one of our best fullbacks in that left-back position, so it's very good to have natural fullbacks in their natural positions. In the central of defense, I'm going to go with Tosin and Colwill. I'm not going to go with Chalobah, and I hope Maresca does not go with Chalobah. I don't have anything against Chalobah, but you're going against a physical team. We are going to defend set pieces. We are going to defend corners. We are going to defend crosses, and you need aerial ability, and Tosin is one of those players. His elbow is even physically stronger than Chris Wood, and we really need that. In midfield, I'm going to go with the Lavia, with Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. Yeah, we need to have a balance between attack and defense, and I'm going to go with Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez in that midfield. Fernandez's leadership is heavily needed into this match. I know a lot of you might have opinions on Lavia starting this game. I might not have an issue, but you also need balance in attack, because how are we going to score goals if we don't have attackers? And this leads me to the attack. I'm going to go with an attacking of Sancho starting down the left, Noni Madueke starting down the right and looking to cut in with his stronger right foot, and Palmer starting at that number 10. Noni down the right, we can get a goal from him. We can get him dribbling. We can get shots from him from those positions. And Sancho down the left, we can get stability. He holds the ball quite well. He creates from that position. And that can be really, really good for Chelsea having that player there. And this leaves me the forward position where I'm going to play Pedro Neto as the number 9, who will be looking to make runs, who will be looking to make those quick runs, especially when he receives the ball. And I'm saying this, that's why I left Lavia out, is because, yes, we need defensive solidity, but we also need a substantial amount of attacking players on the pitch. And having these four complemented with either Cucurella or Rhys James will be good for the team. Now, this is the lineup. Sanchez in goal, Tosin Adrabio and Colwill in the center of defense, Cucurella and James in the wide in at the fullback position, Caicedo and Fernandez as a pair in midfield, Noni down the right, Sancho down the left, Palma playing in behind the pacey Pedro Neto. We can also bring in Lavia towards the latter stages of the game if Chelsea are leading. And this is my lineup, again, my secondary lineup, which I had created. And this lineup has Lavia in the team. But one thing about this lineup is that now we'll have to put Palma either to the false 9 or to the right wing. And that is going to put Palma far away from goal. And what you want is Palma being close to goal. And you don't want your fullbacks to bomb forward and open up gaps so that you can be countered attacked. Now, in possession, we know that at home, away, Nottingham Forest are going to be aggressive. They are going to press aggressive in their 4-4-2 diamond. And this might involve the two forwards while Gibbs White trying to cut central passing options. And this is where Chelsea need to understand. When Nottingham Forest decide to clog the center of the pitch, Chelsea should look to try and have overloads in the wide areas by having their fullbacks starting in those wide positions, hugging those wide positions in the fullback areas. Chelsea should look to try and use their goalkeeper to target the fullbacks, either both Rhys James and Cucurella, where they can receive this ball in these regions and look to proceed with the ball in the wide area, since Nottingham Forest might try to clog the center of the pitch. And once a fullback receives the ball, he can look to play the ball to the winger while advancing forward so that they can look to drag the center backs and the opposition fullbacks away from the winger so that the winger can carry the ball and allow Chelsea to effectively build carefully. In possession, Chelsea can move into that 3-5 with either Cucurella even moving high up the pitch and occupying the left half space, or even Fernandez joining him and having that 3-1-6 so that Chelsea can look to try and overload Nottingham Forest. Rhys James should also not be afraid sometimes to receive the ball and carry the ball forward so that he can create that triangle together with Noni, Palmer and Rhys James as they try to create that overload against Nottingham Forest. The wingers should be very direct and dynamic, and that's one thing that will fascinate me with Noni, because when Noni starts down the right, he's more likely to cut in and look to try and take on his player. And this might even put Chelsea in a position where Noni can cross the ball or even attempt a shot and Chelsea can score. Remember, we need also to put the balls in dangerous areas of the pitch and try to at least, once you score the goal, you automatically take the pressure from the team and you immediately put the pressure, creating that overload against the opponent. Without the ball, Chelsea can move into a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1. In this case, a 4-2-3-1 because of how Nottingham Forest like to build up, with Neto being the one leading the press, the wingers starting quite narrow. The main aim is to force the ball onto the wide areas while limiting all central progression and going hard and aggressive against the players in the wide areas, using the touchline as an extra defender. Once Chelsea are not in possession of the ball, they should sit in a rigid 4-4-2 or a rigid 4-4-1-1 structure, with Palmer picking the deeper pivot and Neto looking to press the two centre backs. This is to ensure that Chelsea are well structured, deny them any space, and even if you force them to cross the ball from these positions, you have tall centre backs such as Tosin who can win those duels against Chris Wood. Tough game, tough fixture. We know very well that we had the toughest fixture in the running. We got a win over Liverpool. We got a win over Manchester United. We got a win over Fulham. We got a win over Everton. And we've gotten a win even over Tottenham Hotspur during that period. We only lost to Newcastle, and in that game we got a red card. Probably, if we don't get a red card, probably we can even equalize and probably draw that game, especially with our second half performance, or even probably win it. But now we're in a position where we're in the final game of the season. We've really had some statement victories. And I really think that this game is the game where Maresca and the boys need to prove they can do it when it is needed. This is a final. This is a final. It should be taken as a final, because remember, these are the type of games probably if next season you win the Champions League, you ask yourself, that header scored by Cucurella during Manchester United has contributed to us winning this trophy. Remember what we went through when we won the Champions League with Thomas Tuchel. We really needed that win in the Lampard era. So we need to secure the Champions League. This is the game, whichever scoreline. It's going to be a tough game. And in my prediction, I'm going to go with a Chelsea 1-0 victory. And it's going to be an intense 1-0 victory. It's not going to be, it's going to be a goal that you don't expect. And it's going to be just us surviving throughout the game. What do you think? Leave your comments in the comment section area below. Thanks for watching, and see you in our next video. Bye.